What's up? This is Dr. Taylor Krick at the Washington Wellness Center, and here's our next video in our whiteboard series. These are things that I commonly draw for my patients. Excuse me. I do a lot of drawings. I'm very visual, so we do a lot of drawings, in our consults explaining some mechanisms. So today's video, or this video, is about energy production and metabolism. Just some quick basics and about something called lactic acidosis. So this is a mitochondria. If you're my patient, you probably recognize this. So some very, very basics of metabolism. So we hear about metabolism like it means weight loss, right? And metabolism is really the energy production of the cell. So how well your body takes food, breaks it down, and produces energy out of it. And your body takes this food, breaks it down into electrons and protons, and it passes them through this little motor. And you may have heard from like high school biology that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It passes them through this little motor called the mitochondria. So, and really briefly too, mitochondria, for your brain cells, for example, you have 8,000 mitochondria per neuron. So you have this astronomical number, over 1 quadrillion mitochondria. I'm a full-blown mitochondriac. And also, I'll just show you while I'm thinking of it. This is my mitochondrial model. So some of you guys have seen this. I stole it from my baby on his birthday or on Christmas. It's like, that looks like a mitochondria. I need that. And so electrons, passing through this is what determines your cellular energy and your metabolism and your fat burning and all those things. But it's all a mitochondrial thing. So your body can burn 2 things for fuel. 1, carbs, the other, fat, right? And it puts them into the mitochondria, and out comes energy, right? And I drew a big energy because it produces a lot of energy. That is what you want. You want energy to be produced through something called respiration. That's what you want. It is way more efficient. It produces way more energy. But there are some other ways that you can produce energy. You can produce energy through something called glycolysis, which a glycolytic shift is a hallmark of cancer cells. So it's not a good thing to be producing energy through glycolysis. But the point is, with carbs and fat, what you want is your body to be able to switch back and forth between these. Meaning, if you don't give it any carbs for 6 hours or so, you don't want your body to be like, feed me, I'm starving. And this is, there's another video that we have about blood sugar spikes and crashes, and we see very commonly people get these blood sugar spikes and then these crashes, and especially the crashes, the body's like, feed me, I'm gonna die. And that's a sign that your body's not able to tap into its fat stores. It's almost like if you've got like maybe a checking account and a savings account. If one gets empty, you can tap into the other one. But if something's locked away in a retirement plan or something that's not liquid, that money's kind of there, but you're not able to access it the same way. You want your body to be able to access its fat stores. I think that everybody would agree with me that, weight loss is the #1 thing that people want out of this, even though I couldn't care less. But you want your body to be able to tap into its fat stores and go back and forth. So you want it to be able to burn fat efficiently, but burn carbs when it's able to, or it's in the presence of it. So I mentioned this thing called glycolysis, and what happens is that carbs can be burned through another pathway. And let's just draw it like this. It's more complicated, but it's another pathway, and it produces a little energy, right? So that's like throwing, a little kindling on a fire. It's like a little energy. Okay, we can keep it going. Fire goes out. You got to throw a little bit more on. So this glycolysis is more common with the blood sugar drops. Well, one of the things that happens in this as a byproduct of this process is a buildup of lactate, or what's called lactic acidosis. So very, very common. Lactic acidosis, lactate just in general, they inject rats with lactate and study them because it causes panic attacks. So it causes anxiety, it causes panic attacks, it causes headaches, it causes just soreness, like a lactic acid buildup in your, after a hard workout or something. So some of the signs of this are some of those things that I just mentioned, or somebody that needs to eat fairly often, or they go what's called hypoglycemic, and watch, the other video about measuring blood sugar to understand kind of the correlation between those two. But these are some of the things, and we measure this on labs all the time, but it's a mitochondrial problem. It's a metabolism problem. There are other things that are associated with this, like some issues in the liver and detoxification, or a deficiency of certain B vitamins. Helps support the mitochondria, helps support detox, but you've got to get blood sugar balance. You've got to support the mitochondria to get metabolism back on track. This is one of the values of a ketogenic diet. Keto gets a good rap and bad rap in the science world. Keto gets an amazing rap. It's not something to be done at all times, but you want to be able to confirm in your blood that your body is able to switch back and forth between these two. And I was just with somebody recently, and she said, I can go a long time without eating now. I don't get the cravings anymore. I can do a longer fast. I can do intermittent fast. And even when I do eat, my body's not just like, completely ravished. So this does heal over time, but it's not quite as easy as, just restrict your carbs or restrict your diet, restrict your calories. There's a lot more that sometimes goes into this. Sometimes we need even something like carnitine. I won't ride the whole, well, whatever. Carnitine actually helps shuttle fat into the mitochondria for beta oxidation. There's all kinds of different metabolic things that's not your job to know. It's my job to know. But the bottom line is we've got to get blood sugar balance. We've got to get your body to be able to tap into its fat stores, because once it's able to use those fat stores, then you can start teaching your body how to burn that fat, how to lose weight, and get metabolism back on track. But it's not always as easy as a yo-yo diet. Sometimes yo-yo diets make it worse. Sometimes doing keto the wrong way could make it worse. Sometimes doing keto at the wrong time could make it worse. Being anemic doesn't help. Low thyroid certainly doesn't help. Being chronically stressed certainly doesn't help. So there's all kinds of factors that go into this. It's not just as easy as like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. It's more about the metabolic mitochondrial things, which, by the way, supporting your mitochondria is going to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's, of Parkinson's, of dementia, of diabetes, of heart disease, of cancer, of you fill in the blank with any known condition. We now know that there's a mitochondrial component to all of those things. So that's metabolism, little basics on blood sugar and some of the things that we explain by drawing them for our patients.